Ahoy, folks, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I am your host, Tris, and I am joined by both TJ and special guest, Jenny Geist, to talk about the newly announced update for Mario Kart Tour. Now, I know those of you watching very likely know how much I play of Tour. If you've seen our other videos, you know I play arguably too much of it. So, to actually start this off, TJ, how much Tour do you actually play?
Personally, I play a good bit. It definitely depends from tour to tour. Like, last tour, I practically didn't touch the game at all. I just wasn't too interested. But I've picked back a lot of this tour, and there's some other tours, like the Doctor ones, where I kind of just, play maybe a bit too much for that 2-week interval. Or 4, since the Doctor one is 2 tours. But I definitely play a good bit across them. It just kind of varies depending on my interest on the given tour.
Yeah, so it's not like you boot it maybe once just to get the character. You do regularly play as long as it's interest, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And then Jenny, you recently did a big video over on your channel all about the game. So I'm sure you're a bit familiar with it.
Oh, yes. I've been playing it pretty much every day since when the I think it was the Ninja Hideaway or the Samurai Tour is when I started playing again. I was one of the people that picked up the game at launch and didn't really care for it and dropped it, but with all the hype going on for the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass, I picked it up again and I realized I actually really enjoy this game again. So I've been playing every day since then. I might not play as often now that I finished my video about it. I can stop living in that headspace where okay, I gotta record footage of everything. But as of right now, I play it a lot, and I do really enjoy it. Some tours are definitely better than others. I found the previous one, the Sunday tour, to be pretty uninteresting, but
Yeah.
I actually really like the current one. There's a lot of good tracks in there, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's actually great. I mean, the Booster Course Pass definitely breathed new life into Tour, that even though most of the quality of life updates had already been there, the Booster Course Pass, the Mii's introduced earlier this year, clearly everyone thought 2021 was a sign that Tour was going to die, but no, it's back stronger than ever. And today's news kind of proves that. Now, the fact that there were 2 big things announced here. One of them was expected, and it is not the big news here. So we're going to start with this one, because I imagine this will go faster. Battle Mode has finally been properly announced and confirmed to be coming to the game. I think data miners found evidence of this, as early as late last year. So we've known there's been some work put into Battle Mode for quite a long time, and at this point it's just been waiting for it to get announced and actually released, and we're so close now.
Yeah, I'm surprised how understated the reveal of Battle Mode was. There wasn't a big trailer. They didn't do a sort of how Fire Emblem Heroes has those I forgot what they're called, these direct basically style things where they announce the big updates. But no, they just are oh yeah, Battle Mode's coming. It's Balloon Battle. It's coming in a month, and I hope it's good. I mean, the understated reveal is a little strange, but the fact that it's been in development for so long makes me hope that it's at least polished.
I imagine it'll be at least polished enough to play. I mean, we've had almost, I want to say, tests of it, where there's that challenge that came up earlier this year, I think, where it's take them out as fast as you can, and it's a giant, it's a giant opponent with balloons. So they've clearly been testing the waters for this for a little bit.
Yes, and I was curious at first how it would control, because Mario Kart Tour is auto accelerate and it's smart steering, which works fine for when you're driving forward through a cart, through a course, but I wasn't sure how that would work in a battle mode with these freeform courses. But I was playing another mobile racing game the other week to research for the video. If you saw my video, you know what it is. But it has a battle mode, and it does actually work where you're auto accelerating through the battle mode, and it works better than I would expect, actually, because basically you're constantly moving forward, but the courses they choose are all very wide. They don't have as many of the ones Block 4 in 64, where it's very narrow, not a thing. I think, because I don't know if those would work especially well on a game like Tour, but I do think if they choose ones along the lines of Funky Stadium, I think it might actually work really well.
Yeah, I think the big open maps would probably be what they choose. It'll be interesting getting retro battle courses into this as well.
I mean, I hope Funky Stadium's in because Funky Kong's in the game, and that's one of the best battle courses in the series.
Yeah, it would be good considering he's actually here.
Exactly.
No, I think there's a lot of potential with the maps they could pick. I kind of hope there's new ones as well. But yeah, like you mentioned, like Block 4, I imagine a lot of the complex ones, the ones that would require a lot of, I guess, precision to get where you need to go, probably won't be here, because I can only imagine the auto steering, the smart steering being a nightmare to work with.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't, the smart steering, is that available in battle mode in 8 Deluxe, actually?
That's a good question. I would need to check. I think the auto accelerate still is, and I think the auto steering just keeps you away from the walls, if so.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, so there's precedent. They'll make it work, I'm sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll work. I can't imagine they would be releasing battle mode if it just didn't work. But then again, Tour's had a lot of evolution.
Yeah, I'm honestly more curious how it'll be implemented, because they said single player and multiplayer. So I'm thinking, like, are there going to be battles, like, in place of the bonus challenges at the end of each cup? Are they going to actually be, like, a main part of the gameplay loop, like, instead of racing courses? Like, that's where I'm more curious, honestly.
See, and I'm curious how you two would feel about this. When I saw that we're getting another team rally, part of me was just like, just save that for the battle mode. Like, instead of doing all the team races, make the team rallies a battle mode thing.
I would prefer that, honestly. Like, sort of like, because then that way, it's not like forcing you to mix up your playing as in a main race where, like, oh, I want to use a 3-slot character, but the only characters on my team are 2-slot characters, so I have to use them. I think it'd be cooler if it was just you can only play as your team when in battle mode, and like that, and whoever wins it's more like a Splatfest that way, which I think is more fun than just collecting tokens.
Yeah, I think that I just think it makes more sense. Like, battles in teams feels a lot more reasonable than racing in teams. And I know TJ, you and I were talking about this upcoming team rally, and you're a little upset you're not going to get to use your Yoshi on Team Luigi.
Yeah, I mean, I came in when they first started dropping Sydney, so it was like, oh, cool, time to get this newfangled Spotlight Yoshi, and it's been kind of way too good, and it's like, damn, Mario's got the Yoshis, but it's fine, it's fine. Bowser Tour just primed Team Luigi for the win. It's all good, it's all good.
Well, I want to be Team Mario, but I like a lot of my best units are Team Luigi, so I'm back and forth. Like I just got Gold Charge and Chuck, and he's been extremely useful to me, but I'm pretty sure he's Team Luigi, and it's like I'm torn between two facets of my personality.
Yeah, it's especially when it's like, do you want to support the characters that are on there, or do you want to go the one where you have more opportunity to actually win? That's what gets tough with team rallies. But I feel like if you consolidated that into battle mode, that wouldn't matter as much. Sure, I imagine the frenzy system, as terrifying as it would be in a battles format, will probably still be there to some degree. So it would definitely still affect things. But I wouldn't be as in your face as dividing up races.
And plus I don't really like team rallies in races. I don't like throwing out a lightning and only affects half the racers. It just doesn't feel right to me. But like in a battle mode, it's had team modes since the beginning, so it makes a lot more sense there. Especially if they were to ever add other modes like the Coin Rush, or I forget all the other ones they added in 8 Deluxe. I don't play 8 Deluxe battle enough. Like there's a lot of potential there. I think I agree it would work better for team rallies. I'm kind of confused. I'm very curious what the context of the tour they added in is going to be, because that's going to be a pretty major tour if it's introducing battle mode and this shop.
Yeah, seriously, that's going to be a huge tour. I mean, October 5th is when it's supposed to be. So, or I guess technically if you're on the west coast of the US, it'll be like the final hours of Tuesday, October 4th. But so it's a good month out. And we know this update is dropping late September, but all the changes won't take effect until October. So the update's gonna hit in time for like the 3rd anniversary for the game. But these big changes, battle mode, the spotlight stuff, which we'll get to, that stuff will all come at the start of the following tour.
I actually have a theory about how they're going to structure this, because they always do these like multi-tour events when it's like an anniversary or something, and like I think the one right before the like the one that's from like the 13th or I think the 20th to the 4th or the 21st to the 5th, depending on your time zone. I think that's going to be the first half of the 3rd anniversary event. That's going to be the city tour that brings back all the different cities, and I think because like it's about to not be a gacha game anymore, they're gonna have the pipes of these tours have like all of the like as many like city spotlights who are like really valuable as possible to basically get the last like money out of the whales before they move on to this new system. And whatever the new tour after that is gonna be, I think it's going to have a similar like maybe it'll have like a new course or like a new city or something and that to bring in this new change.
I didn't even think about the fact that the anniversary tour might be stacked with spotlights in those pipes as like a send-off to them.
That's kind of what it makes sense to me, because they have like so many, like you mentioned, the Kangaroo Yoshi and like the Amsterdam version of Rosalina and like Thai dress Daisy they can bring back, and it'd also be a good opportunity to add more variants to the city tracks, because like Sydney Sprint 3 was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's still not in Tour, so just throw that in. Or like it's been a few months since Bangkok Rush, so I mean I'd love to see the second variation of that. I mean there's a lot they could do.
Yeah, there really is, and the anniversary tour is kind of a great time to do that. It's also a great time to bring back courses we haven't seen in a while. I mean, we mentioned Sydney. Yeah, even beyond Sydney 3, we haven't seen Sydney. I don't think we've seen Sydney at all since the last Sydney tour, like a year ago now. So, like getting
better. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, I said like getting Sydney back, getting New York Minute back. Like even if they're already been added to 8 Deluxe, getting some more of the tour tracks that we just haven't seen in a while would be great.
Oh, I agree. I mean, like, I know a lot of people hated the Metropolitan Fest, but I really liked it, actually, because it's all these courses that I haven't played. Like, either haven't played at all or haven't played in a long time. And I would be totally down for the anniversary tour to sort of be a send-off for, like, the first 3 years of tour, almost. I mean, that's basically what it is, because, like, not only is there battle mode and the shop, but they also said many more significant changes are coming.
Yeah.
There was that, they said, like, the versus 100 people, like end of cup challenge is coming, like that was a few months ago.
I forgot about that one. That was
so like I wouldn't be surprised if that comes along with this tour too. Like it feels like we're getting a pretty major revamp of the game. It's like kind of out of nowhere. I did not expect them to do it now at the 3-year point.
I mean, I guess timing it around the anniversary is kind of good too, though, because it means they can, while celebrating the anniversary and everything the game has been, they can also prime it to take a new step forward in a brand new evolution.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not like this would be the point where if it were winding down, it would start winding down. And I'm seeing a lot of people being like, oh, they're getting rid of Gacha. It's probably going down soon. But like battle mode's a really big addition, and there's still 2 years left. Like there's still a year and a half of it for them to release the rest of the booster course pass, and there's no way that tour is gonna end before the booster course pass ends. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's gonna stay alive through it. Now, I do actually have a fun question that came to mind as you mentioned, like, oh, when they introduce these changes in the tour that starts on October 5th, we'll probably see like a new course then. But if we're adding battle mode, what if we actually see a shift where sometimes they won't add new courses? They'll obviously change the ones in cycle, but they'll focus on adding a brand new battle map. So we'll probably get like maybe a good 3 to 4 at least available right away.
I would definitely be happy with that, because the battle modes in Mario Kart's history are like so forgotten a lot of the time. Like, I mean, I'm not like as big of a battle mode fan as I am of regular racing, like most people. But it is like I look back at like Mario Kart 7 and I'm like, oh, I completely forgot that like Sherbet, I forgot what it's, Sherbet Rink or something, I think like that. I forgot that course exists entirely, and I know every other Mario Kart 7 course like the back of my hand. So I would actually be down for that. I would be down for them to sort of add that more variety by going to the battle mode history, and especially if like there's some like really big fan favorite ones they can do, like Funky Stadium. Like I said earlier, I really want Funky Stadium.
That's fair. What about you, TJ?
I think especially in terms of like the single player stuff, it'll be really nice too, depending on how they handle it. If it's cycled in a sense, because I feel like every game they offer battle, it's super fun to do battle, but like it very much like wears. And like Jenny said, I mean, I like battle, but I mean, there's the regular racing aspect. So with Mario Kart Tour's natural means of cycling out courses, I think cycling battle in and out, if they handle it something like that, could kind of keep it fresh and always exciting when it happens. I'm sure they'll always leave like an online multiplayer version of it, but like the single player cycling it in and out will kind of keep it feeling nice when it does show up.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it depends on to what degree it's there in a single player. I mean, are we going to have a tour that's just battle mode and no races? I think that'd be a little ridiculous.
I think how I would do it is I would just have one of the cups be a battle cup, where it's like there's 3 courses that are battle course. Like maybe it's like a battle cup where one course is Sherbet Rink, one course is like a SNES one or something, then one course is Funky Stadium, and you just have to like get a high score on those by beating other people. And then maybe like the challenge at the end is like something completely new and unique, where it's like, oh, maybe like you're fighting a boss fight like Mario Kart DS. But
yeah,
I definitely do want them to balance it, because like most people, racing is still a major draw, so I don't want them to make it like battle is like 50-50 with racing. I think like 75-25 would be a better balance for this type of thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. If they make battles too overwhelming and like too present, even just beyond just the initial tour of adding them in, it runs the risk of the novelty of it will run out quickly, because it is only balloon battle as far as we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did have one thought though, is that, you know, because like the Great Pyramids of Egypt, like a Cairo course has been in the game's key art for 3 years, and that has still not shown up. So what if that's a battle course? What if we get like city battle courses to represent other parts of the world that aren't currently there still?
That would be really nice, actually, because then you can really see them take the different environments and shape it into something that can work for Mario Kart. So it's not just making roads out of all these different places and putting it together. It's, you know, clear this entire marketplace in, I don't know, Greece, and you can have a battle right there. Like
I like the city courses, but they do sometimes have an issue where they kind of blend together. Like there's a Ferris wheel element in like 5 different city courses. But I think if you were to have cities in like a battle mode format, it can give you a lot more freedom. Like I said, you could have Greece, or you can have like the Roman Colosseum as just a battle course. There's like a lot of potential there.
Yeah, there is. There definitely is. My last point on battle that I want to bring up is for what we have for races right now, you know, and in general collection across the game, other than drivers, carts, and gliders, you also have the Mii racing suits, which are basically more drivers. But I know Data Mining found a whole bunch of different balloons. And while it could just be, you know, different balloons tied to different teams and all the different colors, do you guys think we'll get a new collection piece like gliders, but instead of gliding in battles, you have your customized balloons?
I'm conflicted on that. Like I think it'd be cute almost more as like a side thing, like almost like the emblems in DS where you can customize your balloons, or maybe maybe even something where it's like you can buy them in like the shop for like 100 or like 500 coins each, like these customized balloons. If it's part of like, if it actually becomes like a premium thing where it affects your score, that's where I'm not as sure, because it's just like, I think what we have now is enough. I don't need more non-drivers filling up the rotation, because like drivers are really the big draw. Like drivers, then carts, then gliders, and I think having something below gliders basically might be a bit weird.
Yeah, that's fair. I would imagine it'd be instead of having gliders and battles, like you would pick the balloon instead of the glider. So it would be equal, and it would be equal in power to the gliders, and they would do the same thing, just, or at least in terms of how they affect your races would do the same thing, but instead you wouldn't have gliding, you would have the balloons that's always out and available.
That makes more sense to me. Yeah, like it would at least like I imagine it would be treated like in a sort of different tier in that case, like because if they're not going to be available in every race, and I think that would make it work. Like it's not. I doubt they're going to have like spotlighted balloons for every tour. If it's more like a sometimes thing, I'm cool with that then.
I see. What about you, TJ?
I think it's a bit weird, especially when you consider it would only be used here and there, especially with how they're gonna be changing, getting carts and gliders and characters and stuff. It adds one more expense to a potentially already uncertain shift on how getting things is gonna be, and it thankfully it won't be like chance, so if you need them you'll just be able to get them, but it'd make like saving for rubies and stuff a lot more awkward, because you not always going to expect to get like all of the stuff from the spotlight pipe, or in this case spotlight shop, but it's going to add like one more expense that's gonna be a bit rough to try to justify getting, compared to it kind of creates one more gap between the whales and regular free-to-play players and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I see what you mean.
I think it'd be cool, and it'd be a cool design. I mean, we have gliders that literally track how far you've glided. Those are super cool, so it'd be
that's the coolest
great
part.
to see how they'd handle balloons in that aspect, but I do think it would really create a bigger gap between players that might be kind of awkward for the balance.
I can agree with that, although it does give me an idea. So what if they make New York Minute a battle course, and then the balloons are like Thanksgiving Day balloons, and they have a Thanksgiving tour? I actually changed my mind now. I want
that.
This.
Would be so fun.
Oh my gosh, Mario Kart Tour's take on the St. Macy's Parade. That'd be so funny.
Yes, they could have the Pikachu balloon there. They own him.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is absolutely hilarious. Oh, that is so good. That also makes me terrified of what a New York Minute battlefield would look like.
Oh my god. I mean, I haven't been following the data mine super closely, but I remember seeing that there's like city courses that are like filed in a similar section to the battle courses. I don't know if that means anything. It could be just for testing, but I think it was Paris and one other, and I do think if they were going to repurpose any courses into like battle courses, I think taking the city maps and like just having them be freeform could be interesting.
Yeah, as long as it's not too close to the vanilla Mario Kart 8 on Wii U's battle mode.
Oh yeah, they need to like only do like ones that are like smaller, like Paris. Like I don't think Los Angeles or Vancouver would work for that at all. But
yeah, the bigger ones would definitely be rough for that. So I'm gonna use this time, because we now talked about it a little bit. I'm gonna use this to transition, because we've talked a little bit on battle mode here. I think we got most of that out. I'm definitely excited to see how battle mode goes. But the big news of the day that has the Mario Kart community in shambles is the fact that they're essentially removing the gacha mechanic, mostly at least. Pipes that require rubies will be gone, and instead there will be the Spotlight Shop, where you spend your hard-earned rubies or hard-paid-for rubies, depending on the kind of player you are, to buy new or returning spotlighted items. And this is so fascinating to me, because this is removing like a rather big part of the game that has always been controversial, but we never thought they would back down from. Look at Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah, I'm shocked at this move, because literally just 5 days ago, I mean, the reason I'm here is because I made a Mario Kart Tour video where I talked about like, oh, I think this game is really good, with the exception of the gacha stuff still being very manipulative like it was at launch. And I was like, well, like maybe they could change it. Maybe they could do like a battle pass or shop system, but I don't think they will, because they have no motivation to. And then literally 5 days later, they just casually said, oh yeah, we're removing pipes that you can pay for with rubies. And it's like, oh, wait, okay. This is an objectively good change, but I still need to see how they're going to like handle the Spotlight Shop before I like judge how it affects the gameplay system.
Yeah.
But I'm like, on a base sense, like no gambling mechanics in a game is good. So I'm glad they're doing this change at the very minimum.
What about you, TJ, from initial impressions?
I was gonna say, I honestly never even thought that this would be on the table. I figured like their get around to complaints like that was the Mii costume system. I figured that they implemented that as like a solid way of creating a consistent chance to get a spotlight racer for races without having to throw away the character gacha so they could still bank off of that. I figured that it was sort of like the, I guess, answer as opposed to like an actual fix. Or I guess deviation completely away from.
Yeah, when, as it turns out, it might actually be the framework, testing the framework.
Yeah, exactly.
I never would have expected the Mii shop to basically be testing for the Spotlight shop, but honestly, like, I expect to have a similar layout. Like,
yeah.
I guess we haven't, like, speculated prices yet, but I feel like it's probably going to be 100 rubies for a, like, spotlighted. Like, I don't see them going much higher than that when Mii costumes are high-end and they are also 100 rubies.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the carts and gliders, too. So
oh, true.
They can't go much higher simply because there's just a bunch more that's going to have to show up in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I do think this will mess with the Ruby economy a little bit in terms of how much things cost. Like, I know some people may be upset if, they just bought the Bowser Mii racing suit from this tour or whatever future ones we're getting for, I don't know, the 75 rubies instead of the 100 because it's off. But then if this whole thing rolls out and maybe spotlighted characters cost 50 or spotlighted characters, carts and gliders cost 50, and then the other things in there may be slightly more because, you know, they're just always there, or they're for the full cycle. They're not brand new spotlighted ones or something like that. People might be a little bit upset at the change there, but I think it'll be a little hard to make everything like 100 rubies unless they change the economy around a little bit.
Yeah, like I was thinking if they do like 100 rubies for spotlights and it's a pipe with 3 spotlights, then it's 300 rubies, which is like quite a bit less than it takes to empty a pipe, but quite a bit more than just doing 1 or 2 gacha pulls and getting what you want. So they have to like straddle a very like thin line of appeasing the people who spent lots of money on the game and appeasing the people who like work really hard to like save their rubies. Like I'm really curious which direction they're going to lean towards and how that's going to affect the community as a whole.
I feel like, at least personally, from my thought, it'd be similar to the ratios they have in shops. So, like, buying carts is usually, like, I think 10,000 coins, and then the characters themselves are 12,000. And then they also have a different ratio with, like, the token shops, too, with, I think it's 100 for carts and gliders, and then 200 for the characters themselves. I don't think they'd make the discrepancy that big as like one's double the other, but I figured they'd probably want to go somewhere in there. Maybe do like how the Mii costumes do 70 at the start, and then make like the carts and gliders 50. But you kind of like the Mii shop, maybe they'll make it so you can buy multiple at once. So it kind of bridges that gap between needing tokens, and then the people that want to put more money in can use that to kind of just get a bunch of them over and over again for the free levels.
I think that would be nice, actually. Like, I imagine like if it's like 100 rubies for the spotlight, and then if they have like other like non-spotlights in the rotation, maybe they're like 70 rubies, like that way. So it's like obviously you still want the. Like, from a financial perspective, they're struggling with people who are going to be like, oh, I want, like, I don't know, like, Summer Kamek, and I only have 50 rubies, I need 50 more, I guess I'll buy some. And then there'll be the people who already have their rubies and they can just buy him now, but then they can also spend extra rubies on whoever's, like, in the rotation again, like Charge and Chuck or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And if you combine that system there with what should be staying, such as the packs, like the 45 ruby pack or 90 ruby pack that you can typically buy for $20 or $40. You know, feelings about that aside, those are pretty decent at getting people to buy them and also get rubies in the process, or alternatively get rubies while also getting a character or cart or something they're interested in the process. having that stick around would be good too.
Yeah, it becomes a lot closer to something like V-Bucks or like in Multiverses like Premium, where it's more like a premium currency than it is like a gambling currency. So it's not like, it's still not perfect. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, the game is pro-consumer now, but it's way better than gambling. So I'm all for this change. Like that's kind of what I was arguing for in my video. Like I was thinking like, oh, maybe they could do a system where like the gold pass players get the new spotlights immediately, while the like free players can like earn them in the shop or something. Like I do wonder if they're going to have like an overhaul of the rest of the monetization when this happens. Like, is the gold pass gonna get any new benefits? Is the are like those packs that sell rubies, are those gonna like give you a different amount of rubies now? Because it's not balanced around the gacha anymore, which really changes things up.
It does, and it can't be balanced around the gacha anymore because, you know, there's no reason to give 45 rubies away now when you pay $20 because before it equated to spend $20 to do a 10 pull of the pipe to maybe get what you want out of it. But that's not what's going to be needed anymore. They could round it up more if they want, or they can round it down if they want more. Like, now it would need to be scaled around whatever the average price of what people would typically want in the shops will be.
And if they are doing it this way, are they even going to need the bundles anymore? Like, it's like $40 to buy this bundle with like Santa Bowser and this card and like these like rubies, or will it just be like enough rubies to buy a high end will be $20? So if you want to get this high end without having to earn all that rubies, you just spend $20, kind of like a skin in Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good comparison, actually. Yeah, how it really is like shifting away from the gacha game system and moving closer to like Multiverses or Fortnite or these kinds of live service games where they make these things available for the premium currency that you buy, but there's no gamble in it. It still could be better, like you said, Jenny, but it's a fact of it makes it a lot more accessible to players without causing a gambling addiction to anybody.
Literally, yeah. Like, because if you, like I said in the video, if you want to empty a pipe, it's like $200. So if you want to guarantee you get this new high end after starting the game, you have to spend that much money. But if it's literally just, I want this new Rosalina alt and it's $20 and I'll have the rubies, like, fine, I'll do it. Like, it's honestly not how much I would pay, but I mean, that's basically the standard for skins in the industry now somehow. So, I mean, it's working for most people, I guess.
I mean, TJ, if they added, like, Wedding Bowser or one of the Bowser or Yoshi alts you've been, like, really, really waiting for, how much would you pay for them?
I mean, that's very debatable. I thankfully I'm already one to naturally just save my rubies because most of the time I don't care or I have what I need. But that's awkwardly tough. I feel like it also have to be in context to like what they have.
Yeah.
Like sure, I guess if they had like an old what is it, King Koopa, like or throw it back, or like this tour's crime of not making an SNES Bowser, I definitely consider dropping a dime if I had to.
Yeah.
But even then, there are still limits.
Thoughts on this tour aside, somehow not adding any sort of new Bowser and teasing an SNES Bowser. I think it is important to note with all of this, though, that the gacha system is gone with an asterisk. It's not 100% gone. It's gone for the currency you get with real money. Because it's still there for pipes that don't use rubies. So I imagine like the pipe that you get to pull after your daily races, the pipe that you would get to use from the token shop that increases by 10 tokens every time you use it, or the pipe that you get to use at the end of completing a tour that gives you a guaranteed high end of any of the high ends that are like common, or just like that are there every tour. I think those will all still be there. I don't think like pipes 100% are gone. Just the ruby pipes.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot more healthy since
it is.
It especially in this case, with all of those things, I don't think there is a way to spend money in any capacity to pull on those. Sure, you can spend time to pull on the token shop pipe, but I mean, if you're playing the game, you're hopefully having fun doing it. Not to say I've never grinded in something and not had fun, but at least it's a decision of your own will. You're not coming out of pocket, and other potentially, I guess, dangerous connotations that come with coming out of your pocket for RNG.
Yeah, to me it works because, like, there's still all these, like, normal rarity characters and gliders and such, and, like, they're obviously, it sucks to get them when you pull from a pipe to get a spotlight and you just get a bunch of babies, but for, like, a new player, you're still going to, like, need to beef up your ranks, and this is basically an opportunity for people to beef up their ranks without spending all their money on, without spending all their coins or rupees on just characters that end up being useless. To me, it just sort of feels like it's a remnant of the gacha elements, but it's more of, like, a quality of life thing now that there's no rubies. It's more of, like, a bonus in my mind.
Yeah, I think the fact that there's some of it staying is fine, because it's like, rather than spending the resources in the shop or waiting for something to come into the shop, you're gonna just spend some, non-premium resources to see what kind of thing you can randomly get. Since the removal of pipes, and I imagine 10-pull pipes, unless they change some of those other ones around for resources, it's going to be a lot slower for people to level up even just the normal characters if they haven't been saving up, like, tickets and or just trying to get them in the shop. Like, it's going to take longer for people to get even just the normal and common characters, the common and super characters up to higher levels if they need to at all.
That's why I'm curious if they're going to rework anything else. Like, maybe, like, tuber gifts can give more tickets now or something. Like, yeah. That's why I'm just like, I need to know more. Like, I'm glad about this change. I'm sure it's going to be better, but I want to know more.
Yeah. And we probably won't know much more until the update actually drops in about a month.
It does also leave me curious with something else, though. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure if it was confirmed or not, or just speculated, but when battle modes introduced, are they taking out the gold races?
Yes.
Yeah.
They outright confirmed that. They said when this update hits, I don't know if it's on the 5th or, like, whenever the day of the actual update hits, but yeah, gold races are being removed. They're being essentially consolidated into the normal standard races. Gold Pass users can still rank up to, like, S+6 or whatever it is, but there won't be the division of two races anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of, like, with that change, and especially with the pipe changes, I really wonder how they're gonna change the Gold Pass, because they're taking away more and more incentives to have it, which isn't inherently a bad thing. It means you spend less money if you just don't want it, but it could also, like you mentioned in your video, Jenny, it's kind of like a battle pass in a sense, and it kind of makes me wonder how much more they're going to lean into that sort of aspect of it, and if they'll sort of do more, since we'll be getting less rares and commons and stuff. Maybe they'll try to find a way to supplement that better within the system, or just, I guess, in general, how they're going to even handle it, because it loses a lot of impact that has with a lot of these changes they're making. So I'm a bit curious as to, I guess, how they're going to handle it.
I think one thing they could do, I doubt they'll do this, but I've been proven wrong before, is have the Gold Pass, instead of giving you 10 rupees a month, it gives you however much a high-end costs per month. So basically it guarantees you one high-end per month, and maybe, like, there's going to be at least 2 characters per month, like, quite a few more. So yeah. I think at least giving it a minimum where it's like, okay, I'm guaranteed to always get one of the new characters per month by paying $5 a month. I think that's a much more fair thing, on top of the other benefits it has, like 200cc and, like, all the extra tour gifts and such. So I think that would at least be a start. I don't know if they're going to do that, though.
Yeah, it's tough to say how they'll shake up the Gold Pass to make it more worth it. Because, but yeah, by removing the gold races, that does remove like a big portion of it, and they would need to introduce something of equal value or better to keep people on it. Now, I do like the idea that you're mentioning, Jenny, because I think it would add good incentive to get it, and essentially keeping it like a battle pass, or like the paid battle pass in Multiversus, for example, where there's rewards you can get by being tied to it. But I almost feel like they would increase the price of it to warrant adding that amount to it, if that makes sense. That amount of rewards to it.
That would make sense, because when Mario Kart did the Gold Pass, that eventually inspired Fire Emblem to do a similar thing.
Yep.
Fire Emblem's is $10 a month, so it might go roundabout where Fire Emblem inspires Mario Kart to raise it to $10 a month, but potentially with larger benefits.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you can get to claim one guaranteed spotlight for free each month, or each tour. Each tour might be a bit much, but one guarantee each month.
It would be a plus, but I also do worry that $10 brings it out of the impulse buy range, which is where that's where it is for me right now. I mean, it works for Fire Emblem, so I mean, who am I to say? And I would maybe still keep it that way depending on how it works, but they would definitely need to like make a big change to it, like you said, giving you a free spotlight every month or every tour to like justify a $10 or $5 increase.
Yeah,
like something like that.
Yeah, they definitely need to shake it up to warrant not only people keeping it, but people that haven't bought it to actually buy it. Because if they're just removing races, it no longer becomes worth it.
On the upside, it like they did also mention that the ranked characters will no longer, like the spotlights will no longer have an inherent advantage in ranked, which is good. It means it's slowly making the game less pay to win, where it's like these spotlights are always guaranteed to be doing well, so whoever can afford the spotlights will do well in the ranked. Like, I do really appreciate that change as well.
Yeah, that is a really good touch, because in some tours, that is a bit difficult, where even like someone like me that's been playing since launch and hasn't missed a beat in the game, and I don't put a ton of money into the game, but I'll still encounter tours where I have nothing top shelf except I would need to get the new high end for it, or the new spotlight, and then you go and look and they're not even normally good for that course. It's just because they're on this slot, so therefore they work because they're a spotlight this tour, and it's like, well,
and then they're like useless after that.
Yeah.
I've had some that still remain useful to me. Like, I actually really love the Pastry Chef Rosalina alt, and like I know some people don't like it because it's like, well, a lot of our spotlights are city courses that aren't in the rotation all the time, but I've gotten quite a bit of use out of her. But then I have ones like what was there was like a spot, I can't think of it offhand, or it was from the Doctor Tour, it was Dr. Peach, I think, who I don't get much use out of. Like, Dr. Bowser is awesome. I've seen Dr. Bowser a lot, but Dr. Peach I barely ever see.
Yeah, I feel that way with Cat Rosalina and Cat Bowser, or Meowser. Like, Meowser's there so often now, but I can count on one hand how many times I've used Cat Rosalina.
It's because it's such an adorable costume for her.
It is. It's so interesting with how it affects the game. But you're right, though. The fact that they're making that change is good, because it means the new spotlights are more about if you want them rather than needing them.
Which is so much, like, I hope this also leads to more variety in who gets spotlights. This is maybe a little more of a stretch, because like, don't get me wrong, I love Mario, Peach, Rosalina, Daisy, but like they're the only ones that get spotlight, like that get costumes these days. Like I would love for more of the extended cast to get them. Like Wario and Waluigi and Yoshi have like a few, but they could definitely use more. Or even like I kind of want them to go on a bat and do characters like Kiamik and King Babam. Like give them like costumes too. Like I think like a King Babam Santa costume would be perfect, because I love King Babam.
I love using King Babam. He's so much fun.
He's one of my favorite new characters in this game. I love him.
So much personality. No, like
I know, he's just a big little mustache man.
I think Pauline might be the only new character that's actually gotten alts, not counting like the gold alts because I find those still weird, like Gold Charge and Chuck and
I know.
Gold King Bomb. Like listen, I don't know why we're still dealing with like a ripple effect from New Super Mario Bros. 2, but
it's like, don't get me wrong, I love coin box characters, but I do think we have like more than enough at this point. Where if they wanted to take a break and like give some other items some focus, like I can't think of the last time they had a character that had the like Hammer Bro item, or like the Bowser shell hasn't had a new character besides the me costume since launch. So like I would like if they gave it more variety.
Yeah, it would be nice to get some more of those in, and even like some of the other characters that we're still missing. You know, like looking at the upcoming, at least from recording, you know, from when we do this, the Mario vs. Luigi tour. Half of Mario's is Mario and Peach and Toad alts, and that's really funny. But it does kind of say a lot about the balancing. And sure, you know, I don't expect them to give an alt to every single Koopaling. But if Baby Rosalina was the first baby character to get an alt, and we still don't have one for the rest of the babies, like, we only have, Koala Baby Mario and, like, Cupid, Cherub, whatever it is, Baby Peach, you could stand to balance that out a little bit more.
Yeah, there's so many characters where I feel like they have plenty of potential for alts. Like, when they added the Koopa cape, it was in the Peach vs. Bowser tour. Like, why not have, like, a cute, like Koopa outfit for that or something? Like, yeah. And, like, it's not like they don't have inspiration for those, because they have, like, the cat Koopas from Bowser's Fury, or they could do, like, Fury Bowser while we're there, or, like Cat Bowser Jr. Like, they can take inspiration from the games while still going beyond just Mario and Peach's Odyssey costumes. Like, don't get me wrong, I like those costumes, but, like, it's diminishing returns at this point.
Yeah. You raised a really good point, though, also about the Versus Tour that I think with the Spotlight shop they could finally address. So you know how normally with Spotlights, and this might be the same for the shop, where they rotate out each week, or they used to rotate out. Now it's the week 2 gets added during the second week. So, you know, week 1 you start with essentially half of what's worth for that tour, and then the second week, when the second Reigns Cup starts and the second half of the tour starts, is when the next set of spotlights appear. They could do that for the shop as well, but if they're going to keep doing events like team rallies, where you have to pick a side and all that, at least add something of value to both sides. Because for the upcoming one, Mario vs. Luigi, Luigi's got that really cool looking Knight alt, and Mario gets nothing. And personally, I'm fine with that because Mario has enough alts, but on the other hand, Team Luigi's gonna win because everyone's gonna look at that and go, oh, well, I mean, Luigi has the new alt, I want that, so I'm gonna pick Team Luigi.
I noticed it looks like they're trying to force a Luigi win this time because Mario won last time. And like the Spotlight course is Luigi Raceway from 64, and the only new alt is a Knight Luigi. So I definitely see their hands there. But I agree. I think like if they have like the Mario, like if they have like maybe like instead of doing it how they do it now, where it's week 1 is one selection, week 2 is another selection, maybe week 1 is partial selection from both, and week 2 is partial selection from both. So it's
exactly.
Like maybe they have like a Mario costume and a Luigi costume and like one car each, then week 2 adds another costume, and because like now that they aren't doing gacha pipes, they can do different amounts of costumes. It doesn't always have to be 3 or 6 as spotlights in a pipe.
That's true, yeah. They can balance completely differently. They can bring back different alts to Spotlight if they choose to, rather than other new ones. They can balance. Crazy. They can balance it around. That, especially for team rallies, should be treated as bigger events to get a lot of these here and around.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. It's like it feels like this is like an entirely new start for the game because there's so much foundational stuff that's tied to the gacha. That's like it's either going to need to be reworked or it's going to become redundant.
And I think that's exactly why they say there's plenty of other changes coming on top of just this. This might really feel, other than like control-wise, this really might start to feel like a completely different game come this point.
And I'm excited. It seems like they're focusing on the elements that make the game good already and taking out the elements that have made it so controversial over the years. So I hope that they keep this up.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, do we have any final thoughts about this big update coming to the game in about a month? I'll let Jenny, I'll let you go first if you have any.
Oh, sure. So basically, I'm excited. I had my worries about how they're going to structure this, but if Tour is anything, it's a game that listens to its fans. Like, they've made so many quality of life changes over the years that have made it more accessible and easy to play. They fixed the controls, now they're fixing the monetization. Like, the courses have improved and so on. So even if it's going to maybe be a rocky start, I do really think this might be a new beginning for the game, and it might repair the game's reputation in the eyes of fans. Because I commented on my video quite a bit. It's still kind of the butt monkey of the Mario Kart fandom, and like, even though like there's still like some merit to it, it still has that reputation. And I think if they're really listening to fans this much, where they'll remove the gacha from a gacha game, I think that's a good sign that they're listening.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's a good sign of things to come and a better outlook on the game, even if it ends up having a bit of a rocky start, because as they've proven with the rest of it, they can kind of get where they need to over time. TJ, what about you? Any final thoughts?
I mean, for the most part, I'm excited. I think most of my worries, generally speaking, are just how much more awkward it'll be to start playing the game, since we're not really certain how they're going to be handling like the commons and rares, so it might be a bit more awkward for people to start getting into it if they don't properly address it. But I also think that with the more consistent hand of being able to do and get what you want, it might take a bit longer, but it's also a bit less frustrating for people, so it might keep them longer. And then because they've tooled the gameplay enough that it's an enjoyable experience, that even if it takes a while to figure out exactly what they need to do, the gameplay itself will still be enjoyable, if nothing else.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the gameplay should still be fun, regardless of how the rest of this goes. Unless they absolutely just tank battle mode somehow.
We removed the drift button again, guys.
We're
going back to day one controls.
As for me, just to kind of close this out, I think the battle mode is exciting. I'm definitely looking forward to what they do with it, even if I don't end up playing it too much compared to races. I think finally getting that is a good sign, and I'm really excited for the changes that should hopefully improve this game's monetization options by removing the gacha, and I hope it means that we'll get some more interesting characters and spotlights in general in the future. I'm still sitting here waiting for Honey Queen from Mario Kart 7 because her emblem was a badge since the start of the game 3 years ago. Still waiting for her, but she'll get added eventually.
She not made it. God, yeah, and I'm waiting for the Halloween tour to finally have EGAD. Like, we've gone 2 Halloween tours and still, or I think 3 Halloween tours at this point, and still no EGAD character at all. And I think that's just insane because he was planned for DS. So maybe he'll kick off the spotlight shop. That'd be a big way to start it.
You know, that's very true. I didn't even think of that too. If they want to really use this to bring people back, they need to have a big, exciting start, like the game initially did, because so many people booted that game up on day 1 3 years ago because, oh my gosh, Pauline's in Mario Kart. They need to do that again.
Oh, I hope so. And like Halloween's right there. Just add EGAD alongside like another one of the haunted courses, like Broken Tear or something. Like, come on, do it.
There's the hope. There's the hope.
Yeah, that's a good place to end things.
Alright, well, I think that'll wrap up this discussion on the big Mario Kart Tour update that's coming soon. Hopefully, it'll be a great one, and we're gonna find out in about a month. So, Jenny, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you at?
Oh, sure. So I have a YouTube channel where I make video essays and reviews and retrospectives and stuff, and I've acknowledged many times in this video, I recently did a video about Tour, where I basically talk about how much I think the game is actually really well designed, except for the gacha. Now the gacha's gone. And if you want to find me there, it's at youtube.com/JennyGeistVids, and you can also find me on Twitter at JennyGeist_ or Patreon at just JennyGeist. So yeah, it was so nice to be on here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, happy to talk with you and happy to talk more positively about Tour because everywhere I look, it feels like everyone's always really down on it. So always happy to get more people together for it.
I think this might be the beginning of like a culture shift around the game. I'm already seeing so many quote retweets on my post about it of like, oh, maybe I'll try this game again. And I'm like, nice. Yeah, I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah, me too, honestly. I would love to see more people get into it from this. But anyway, we'll definitely include links down below so everyone can check out your Mario Kart Tour video essay because I highly encourage it. It was a really good one.
Thank you so much.
But with that, thank you all for watching. Make sure to stay tuned to GameXplain for plenty more on Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart in general with the Booster Course Pass, and other things gaming as well. Until next time, though, farewell everyone.